today's lab, what I wanted to test is I had this assumption that uh, IGP routes cannot be injected to EGP is because this is only for public infrastructure and IGP is only for internal infrastructure, right? But looks like the protocol can redistribute private IP address into EGP, though our understanding of global internet is only of public IPs. It really doesn't matter. The protocol doesn't care if it is private or public. That's what ChatGPT says, and most of the information that I see online. So I thought, why not test this out? This is 83. Okay, so to test this, this is a bigger topology. I'm just going to take a piece of this to test it. I think these three routers should be enough, or maybe we could include the switch as well. This would be my ISP. These are public networks. I have a public IP, different ASN numbers, BGP1 4 times 9. And for here, BGP and the ASBR, I would be using 65,000. Of course, different remote ASNs. So it's going to be an eBGP. We'll verify that in the routing. And this side is your OSPF. We have this loopback address and this transit network. I have 13 and 10.1.34. So if I enable OSPF in all the interfaces here, I should expect to see the loopbacks, the transit, 10.1.13, 10.1.34, and this. So that is from IGP. Of course, RFC 1918. The 10 network or the 10 prefix is your private range, right? So this is only public. So when we redistribute, I was hoping that it will not come because it is an EGP. The protocol says it will redistribute. Protocol really doesn't look into whether it is private IP or public IP. So let's test that out in this lab. This is my internet router. Let me start this. R1 started, R2 started. Let me open the SSH. The interface are already configured. It says line protocol is down. Let's go enable, show IP interface brief. Okay, so the IP is up. We would not be using the other side of the topology. I have 93 here. I don't want this segment. This 3 router should be enough to test this out. So forming BGP here. Let's start with the BGP configuration then. Conf T router BGP 1999 999 or 4 nines. 4 nines. Doesn't really matter. Neighbor is same as this IP 83.0.0.2. Remote ASN 65,000. We have it here. Enter. Maybe I will also define few networks which I want to advertise. So let's do one of the loopbacks. Mask 255.255.255.0. Let's do 8 as well. I just want to see that the reason why I'm advertising this is to check the route that I learn, whether it has the right AD value. I'm hoping to see 20 for EGP. For eBGP, for IBGP it should be 200. So let's see. So this is configured. Let's exit. I'm not going to save the config because this topology is for a different environment. Okay, it says never, no exchange happened. Let's go to R1. Let's expand this window a bit, bring it down. This is R1. Hit enter, show IP interface brief. Okay. So 13.1 is my interface connecting to R3 and 83.0.2 is the local. So 83.0.1 is on the opposite end. This is the loopback IP. Okay, so let's proceed with the configuration. I'll do the router OSPF first. Exit, interface range, E0/0, right? 0 and loopback 0. IP OSPF 1 area 0. Exit, router BGP 65,000 and neighbor, which is 83, right? So 83.0.0.1 remote AS 4 times 9. I don't need to advertise anything. Oh, BGP came up. So let's do show IP BGP summary. We are seeing 3 prefixes being learned. We can also confirm that. So this is the part which I was looking at. It shows AD value of 20, which confirms that this is an eBGP connection. How about OSPF? Nothing in OSPF yet. So we will go to router R3. Let's expand this one. Oops. Expand this window. Let's look at the configuration. There are 3 physical interfaces, E01, 00 and 02. We can enable OSPF in all the interfaces, or just this E01 and the loopback. I will do it on all the interfaces just to see what we learn on the ISP router. So 34. Okay. Doesn't matter because I'll just enable it on the interface. 00, 01 and 02. Right? So conf t router OSPF 1. Let's do this. Somebody asked me this doubt as well, so I'll cover that also. I'm using router OSPF 2 here. I had 1 here. So unlike EIGRP, this is not autonomous system number, this is a process ID. OSPF process ID can be anything, on any router it can be anything, only the area has to match. So it works based on area. So interface range E0/0/2 and loopback 0. IP OSPF 2 area 0. The area 0 was specified in this router also, here also. Process ID is 1. See, the process 2 neighborship came. It is saying loading to full, loading done. So it doesn't really matter. So that doubt that we had is clarified. It is full. We have show IP route OSPF. This is the loopback address of R1. Now if we go to R1, this is R1. We do OSPF. No, we do route OSPF. We see all the routes. Now this router has OSPF as well as BGP. Now let's look at the internet router. This is the internet router. This is R1. We don't need R3 anymore. The routes are coming. So R1, and let's check. It has only the public space, no private space here. And we have BGP summary, right? I will now go to this device and say router BGP 6500, 65,000. I will say redistribute OSPF 1. Now let's see what happens. I've started learning this. It's learning with an administrative distance of 20, which confirms it's kind of a UBGP setup, 8 seconds. Will I have reachability? Of course, no. I can reach maybe, where is that loopback address? I think maybe I can reach 1. R1's loopback I can reach. But not R3 because we don't have a return route, right? Traffic would go all the way to R3. So the internet router knows how to go here, but this guy does not know because we are redistributing only into, it's one-way redistribution. Let's try that also, right? Anyways, we are doing this lab. So conf t router OSPF 1 redistribute BGP 6500. Is that the command? I think so. Now let's try to ping. Ping with a source of 1.1.1.1. See, it works. Maybe it was taking the outgoing interface for a different IP, maybe. Okay. But let's check on R3, right? Show IP route. What am I? Okay, so these are coming as E2. Okay. Okay, so this kind of makes sense. So protocol really doesn't look into whether it's a private IP or a public IP. It just redistributes from one routing domain to another routing domain. So how would the ISP filter this? I mean, ISP should not see the private IP, right? If this guy is learning all the 10, I think he will not further advertise here, maybe, or maybe he'll filter out something. Okay, I think time to do more research.